Let's hear from the coach. We call it Behind the Beard with Bobby Smyrniotis, head coach and technical director of Forge FC. Now, the man who takes us there, here's Anthony Urciuoli on the Forge Audio Network.
It's hot. We get it. Everyone knows that it's hot out. But it does present some challenges in training. Has anything changed? Are they shorter? Is there more water breaks? Anything like that?
Yeah, it's something, to be honest, you're used to. We know when June, July rolls around here, it gets warm. So it's nothing that's new. We train early in the morning. I think that helps. So we try and avoid a little bit of that heat in the afternoon, and you plan trainings a little bit differently with your stop starts and just giving the guys time to refresh themselves. But it's also a reality of us having to possibly play on the weekend an early game in this type of weather. So it's also getting acclimatized to it.
No matter however you want to measure the stats, whether it's advanced stats, whether it's the basic stats, it's been a really dominant stretch for Forge over the last few weeks. Can you point to a turning point where has it just been a gradual improvement week to week?
Yeah, I think it's scoring goals. You take your opportunities, you take the things that we've been creating from the beginning of the season and you turn them into goals. I think that always gives confidence to the group. Once you start doing that, it starts becoming a regular habit. The players were doing this earlier in the season. We just weren't having the success that we wanted. We got it into the right spots. We created opportunities. We weren't finishing some of them. And now we are. And I think that builds confidence in the group, and we're seeing that each and every week. Now the challenge is how you keep going.
Yeah, and you've talked about versatility and depth with this lineup. Around the league, we're seeing it with teams that are missing a guy here or there, and they almost look like completely different teams, and they're struggling. Why has Forge been able to overcome the injuries and things like that?
Yeah, I can't ever talk about the other teams and what their situations are. For us here, it's every player is important. Every player is important to every training session. Every player is involved in everything that's going on. And I think that's one thing that we make sure that the players understand, because their time will come. We've shown over the years, and we use that as an example with the players, that each and every one of them will be important at certain stages in the season. So you just have to stay sharp in training, make sure that they're getting the important stimuluses that they need in training in the group. So when it's time for players who haven't been playing a lot of minutes to step in, it's a natural transition, and that's the one thing I'm happy with. To this point, the guys have stepped into their roles. Guys who haven't played a lot of minutes, and they're doing a great job. We look at a player like Noah Jensen. He's got 2 starts, 2 goals, 2 excellent performances in a midfield that's quite a good midfield in the league, all of them, and he deserves to be playing. But he knows he's an important player. He knows he's an important player when it comes to training. He's following everything that we're doing. So when his time comes, it's a seamless transition. Yeah.
Well, do you think the club will feel the loss of Sissoko in the next match if the suspension holds?
Yeah, I think if we look at how we've been doing, hopefully not. He's a fantastic player, and he's been an important player for us. Done an excellent job in the midfield. But like we just talked about before, it's the next man stepping in and taking their opportunity and doing their job, and I expect that to happen in the next match against Valor.
You mentioned the midfield. Kyle Becker is coming up on a milestone. It's hard to overstate just what he means to this club, but just in your own words, what does Kyle Becker mean to Forge FC?
Yeah, it's crazy. You think about it. We're a new league, and I think it was a few weeks ago we played our 100th match as a club, and here he is playing his 100th match for this club, and him personally, and it just shows how important he's been. We've had a lot of success in this club in the first 3+ years being here, and he's a large part of it, not only on the field and what he's been able to produce and the quality, but most importantly off the field as well, just being the general in the locker room, being the guy that's leading these guys out onto the field, and leading mostly by example. He's a guy that takes care of himself 100% on and off the field, and I think when you have that in your locker room and you have that for younger players to learn from, you're only going to have success going forward.
You're talking to different players about Kyle, and a lot of them brought up the fact that he's not afraid to let you know if he thinks you're not giving it 100%. Not every player could get away with that, but Becker seems to command a certain level of respect. And I'm not sure how you get there, but he seems to have gotten there with this club.
Yeah, I think you do it by the work that you show. If you want to tell people certain things and that make them feel uncomfortable, you have to make sure you're doing the business on your end. And that's the one thing that he makes sure he does. He's about how he comes in here, how he conducts himself, how he takes care of his body before training. how he performs in training and how he takes care of himself after. So when you're doing that, you've got the ability to say a few words to teammates, and I think everyone really respects him, amongst his teammates in the locker room for what he's got to say, because most of the time it's pretty accurate.
And a stretch now where you won't have to travel, at least for a little bit. Is it nice, even just from a mental and emotional side, just for players to be able to sleep in their own beds and be at home for a long stretch?
Yeah, I think it's what everyone prefers. There's no doubt with that. So we need to make sure we try and take advantage of that. We've got the next 3 games close to home, with 2 home games and 1 game at York. So need to take advantage of that, because if this is happening now, we know there'll be a stretch where we'll be further away from home. But the team has done excellent playing both at home and away. It's something that I want to breed always in the group, not making a big difference on where we're going to play. We've done it now in Halifax, which has traditionally been a very tough place to play, and it still is a tough place to play. But we've come out with two wins from there, and we need to use that as a roadmap as we keep on going further in the season on the travels.
We are the Ford, the mighty, mighty Ford. You just don't think you understand.
This has been Forge FC head coach and technical director Bobby Smyrniotis and Behind the Beard. The most Forge content can be found on the Forge Audio Network with Anthony Urciuoli. Subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.